I've come to America mainly because I felt there was more going on here than there was in the UK. Because I'm sort of nearing 40 now, and for the last 20 years I've tried to live as an out gay man, not been happy with it at all, never fitted really into the lifestyle, you know, the clubs and the one night stands and the bath houses and all that sort of stuff, and thought that I would find love and companionship, and haven't been able to find that. So I'm just on a journey around, you know, to find out people's views and to see if there's anything I can do to change.
Okay.
I've been on the Love in Action course, the programme there, and the problem for me with that particular programme was the heavy emphasis on religion. I'm not a heathen. You know, in fact, I spent the first 10 years of my life church, Sunday school, boys' brigade, very heavily involved. But as I've got older, I couldn't reconcile that with my sexuality, and so I moved away from that. Probably a little bit too far for Love in Action's point of view. So that's why I've come to see you, really, to see what sort of information or help, advice, whatever you could tell me.
So you're thinking about change or living heterosexually really doesn't relate to your upbringing, your religious upbringing, or your religious background at all? No,
it's just a case of if I want to make a family and all the rest of it and start a family, you know, I'm kind of pushing the boundaries a bit in terms of time, so that's where I'm at, really.
Well, this may seem like kind of a simple question, but what keeps you then from pursuing opposite sex relationships? Do you not have feelings for the opposite sex, or do you, or what's that like for you?
You know, what was my attraction to the opposite sex? Well, I always describe it to people that if I'm on the tube going to work in the morning, I might see one woman I find attractive, but maybe 4 men. If I do find myself attracted to women, then they're usually the sort of stereotype of an attractive woman. So they're always slim, they're always, you know, kind of really pretty and all the rest of it. So I do have attractions to the same sex, yeah. But I think the sort of same sex is a bit stronger.
Okay. Have you thought of yourself as bisexual?
During the process of making this, I've thought more about that. In the last 7 years, I have been having a relationship with a woman. She describes herself as bisexual and doesn't want to commit to a heterosexual relationship. So,
I see.
I mean, she would be ideal for me, really. But it, you know, as I say, she, you know, it takes two to tango, and it's not what she wants. I imagine if that's what she wanted, I could have a proper partnership with her and talk to her about the feelings that I'm having, which is the other thing that's important to me, is honesty. I don't want to get involved with a woman and not tell her my feelings and where I'm coming from and all those sorts of things. Do you see what I mean?
Right, and this woman may not be available in the way you want her to be, but does she know about, as I assume she knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you've been thinking lately about maybe that you're bisexual, does that help you think, well, maybe I could enter into a relationship that would be workable or satisfying?
But it is the honesty thing. I mean, you know, you kind of think, well, if you say that to a woman, it's going to scare her off. And often, I mean, I'll be honest with you, often I thought about going out to a club and picking a girl up and just starting from there. But the trouble is, because I've lived this way for the last 20 years, there are going to be lots of people I'll have to keep away from her, otherwise it's going to get... Do you know what I mean? I just don't like that dishonesty, to be honest with you. I don't like that dishonesty.
So you really feel that a woman would not be able to handle the fact that you've been gay identified for as long as you have been?
Yeah, a heterosexual woman, I think, yeah. And then if it's a bisexual woman, there are other issues, aren't there? About whether, you know, we're allowed to do what we want to do when we're not together. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So what I like to try to do is really identify what in a sense, the problem or the issue is. And as just in the first 2 or 3 minutes here, I mean, I certainly hear what you're saying about that you have sexual feelings toward men, sexual feelings toward women, they seem a bit stronger to men. And I can understand how that would seem like a turn-off to pursuing heterosexual identity, but is the problem that you have sexual feelings to men, or is the problem finding somebody who would be willing to accept your background, but that could commit to you from here on out, or that you could commit to from here on out?
I suppose the worry for me is that I would be worried about deviating, or that's the wrong word actually. I'd be worried about, how the balance is. If I give you that scenario I gave you before about 2 versus 4 or 1 versus 4, I'd be worried that if I got bored within that relationship, or do you know what I mean, that I would.
Okay. Well, let me take it into a heterosexual analogy for a moment. What about someone who enters into a monogamous heterosexual relationship? Do you suppose that they wonder what would happen if they got bored?
Amongst my friends, yeah. I mean, I do. I've got a few friends who are committed in one-to-one relationship, but they do tell me that occasionally, even though they don't, that they occasionally feel like wandering. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wonder, is that a product of the homosexual feelings that you have, or is that, I don't know, maybe just a kind of natural wondering, could I commit to one person for the rest of my life?
I'd like to think that I could. And
let me establish first, that is what you're looking for? You're looking to, you said you're almost 40, you're kind of looking for maybe to establish a relationship with a family and all of that, and that would include a monogamous relationship then with your wife?
Yeah.
And so I would think that it's conceivable that many men might enter into marriage wondering, I wonder if I'll be bored, I wonder if it's a matter of your sexual attractions, kind of the direction of them, or it's more a concern about just monogamy.
Yeah, I speak to a lot of married men who talk about this 7-year itch, and it's like you just. What I would hate to do is for that to come along, and for me to trying to use these words, acting out. But do you know what I mean? In a homosexual rather than maybe another heterosexual relationship.
Again, try to really define what the issue is. Is the problem that's impeding you or getting in your way of pursuing your objectives the fact that you have same-sex attractions, or is it that you're concerned that you could be faithful to somebody?
I think it's a bit of both. To be honest with you, I think it's a bit of both.